Self TV, where we are hoping that we can share some information about how to get us all back on track to wellness, if that's your desire. And today is Thursday.
Hmm. It
Last week we were
is.
live on Facebook.
Right.
And then this week it's YouTube. So I'm Sonia.
I'm Joy.
And our topic, we're going to talk a little bit about what does health mean to you, mean to me, mean to us. So we're going to talk a little bit about our perspective and I think more so what it should look like. So let's get into it. We have a lot to cover. And if you guys weren't able to join us live, then of course you can always later go check our profile on YouTube, Empower Yourself TV. So, Joy, what does healthy mean to you?
Let's get to it.
Yep.
So I made some notes this time.
Well,
I'm sorry. Welcome, everybody. So I made notes, but I'm gonna try to stay focused and give y'all good eye contact. But from time to time, I'm gonna be looking at my notes because I don't want to leave anything out. But so what health means to me is I kind of want to go back a little bit to my days where I was a meat eater, and I don't want to like offend anybody, but I used to eat meat, and at the time I felt like
what type of meat you used to eat?
Man,
which meat?
Everything. Like I don't think I did not eat except for fish. I never was a seafood person. So
were you experimental with?
Because my mom, she grew up on a farm. So we had like the pork, the bacon, the pork chops. Like my daddy wanted pork chops like once a week. Like, yeah, like I ate all of it. So being like a bodybuilder or in the Miss Fitness, I wasn't really like bodybuilding, but you had to take in a lot of protein. So at that time in my life, I felt like, I was healthy, but like years done went by and I'm like, I had it all wrong, like
especially when the aches and the pains.
Oh yeah, and then that creeped up on me like in my 30s. Like I competed, I was about 26, 27, and then those pains started in my early 30s. Like I felt it, And then being from Kentucky, y'all, I used to drink. Oh my God, I feel like my paycheck was to go to the bar. So then I'm probably feeling, aches and dehydration, like everything from that. So I just had it kind of confused. I felt like you could do both. I felt like you would work out so you could drink and eat and just keep consuming and still look good, So I had it all backwards. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up that I had healthy, what we're talking about now, I had it all wrong. So now that I'm in this state of bliss and just feel good and, no aches and pains and, so now health to me, just being on this journey is really like cleansing at the cellular level, cleansing your blood, going like deep. And it's not just it's not just about the food, because if you choose to eat meat, fine. I'm not upset if that's what you want to do, but I know being a meat eater and now transitioning to like fruits and vegetables, it's just a total difference. So I have to like share it. Like I can't hold this in, But like I said, cleansing,
it's like you found Jesus, so you want to share.
So it's like you want to like share, like I gotta like save the whole world, So like I said, cleansing at a cellular level. And I think about like, children, like my bloodline. Like I want to help them, because really this lifestyle is tough. It's challenges. Like I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's also like rewarding at the same time, because you feel great. And not about so much the outside of the way you look, but like because the inside you feel so good, the outside just works. It just works itself out, So like I said, I want to cleanse my blood. So that means the muscle, the tissues, like all of that. Like I want to go like deep and really, really go like hard at it, like clearing out my system. But it's not just, I guess the body, it's the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, like it's all that too, because, and I hope my cousins, maybe they're listening, but, my mom, well, not my mom, but my grandmother has a nephew, and his name is Guffrey. I'm sorry to put you on blast, Guffrey, but if you're out there, if your children's out there, hey. But he is like almost 80, and he's a meat eater, and and he'll have a cocktail, whatever. But I'm not saying that totally, probably inside that he's healthy, but I'm tapping into like the mental part of him. He just gets up. He ain't thinking about this virus. He ain't thinking about none of this stuff, right? And he's still a meat eater, and he ain't gonna get sick. Like Guffrey is never sick. Like he don't focus on that. He focus on, going to work. He has a garden that he does, and it's just like he don't think, his mental, because your mental, like it'll take, like I guess the body, like it take all that, it takes
where the mind goes, the body follows.
Right. Thank you. And so, I admire him that, he just moves right along. And I'm not saying he don't have no aches and pains. He might get up in the morning and he might be stiff. I don't know. But he ain't thinking about that. He done moved on to the next best thing, and he's on to the next, right? And like this whole virus, like he ain't even thinking about that, So I just bring that up to say that, mentally, you have to really like be in a, in a good place, So that I bring that I can't talk today. I'm sorry. Good. But so like I said, cleansing the blood and then getting rid of the excess like mucus and pus. I didn't know nothing about that and what, causes it. I know, meat and, certain starches and sugar, all that stuff. Like I didn't know at the time when I was bodybuilding. I didn't know that, those things can create, that in your system, inflammation. And then that's acidity. Right. And then that's when like the aches and the pains and stuff like start. So, clearing that out, that makes me feel like, okay, I'm healthy if I can just get my body back like alkaline, and what other notes did I have? And I'm just obsessed with the inside, like to not smell. Like,
girl, tell me about
you can go without deodorant.
I know.
Yeah, like you don't. Yeah, you can. You don't need no deodorant. And I just told you today, like, cause you was in the sun. That's your makeup. You don't need like all the mascara and. Like it looks like you actually have makeup on. Like I was like, oh my God. I was like, because you was in the sun today. So just being able to experience all that stuff. I mean, that's less money you have to spend because, makeup can be expensive. But, y'all, this is just my opinion. Like, I think it's just less is more for me, and I like that. you know, that you don't have to spend all this money like product and, you know, and you just get your little soap and, you know, and I might be sharing too much, but you don't even really have to bathe that often. You know, y'all can make a comment down there if y'all, you know, want to, but like I like that it's just freedom. Like you don't have to think about that, and you don't have to worry about like I remember we used to go to the club in the back in the day, and I'd be like, oh my God, if we was on the dance floor, and I'd be like, is my arm smelling? Like you could smell yourself. Like it's just freeing to just know that you don't have to experience that no more.
The
You know,
yeah,
yeah, and even if you're working out, it's like your sweat don't smell, you know. So that's like freeing. And I know I'm probably getting a little bit off of subject, but I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just really excited. But just clearing, like I said, I left off with the clearing the intestines. Like just I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm healthy. Like to be able to like do an enema and clear out the intestines and like clear those layers out like little by little, you know. It just makes me feel like healthy, and I know what it's doing, like, and I see it because when I was doing the meat and working out, I was still having issues. So like now when I compare it to what I'm doing
were
now,
you feeling pain when you were
when I was when I was bodybuilding, it happened after I stopped. And then, you know, the more we go and drink and stuff, and then that led to going to bars, eating bar food. And then that's when I started feeling like, you know, I'm horrible. Like I feel very fatigued, like for sure. But I'm sure that was probably dehydration most of the time. So, and then that's when the blood sugar. Later, I went to the doctor, and then that's when she was like, you know, you have insulin resistance, but it hasn't turned into type 2 diabetes, but it could. But I did my research and it scared me. And I was just like, oh no, we got to stop this. Like, and I don't know. I was like, I'm not going blind. I'm not losing a foot. Like, and I did my research, and it was like information on the internet saying somehow I came across that you could, you know, change your diet up. It wasn't talking about vegetables, but it was like talking about like, you know, the sugar and the starch. And one thing I didn't like was how they like really like the fruit part of it. I didn't really care for that because I deprived myself of fruit, and now I know I can have pretty much all the fruit that I want now. But yeah, it totally scared me. So, but anyway, I don't want to get too much off subject with that. But it's just I don't know. It's just a freeing thing to know that you know you can clear your insides, and you know, and just I just feel great like overall. And
so what do you think health means to the average person
today? I feel like people so obsessed with the outside part. Like I don't think they
as long as you look good.
Yeah, that's what they focus on. And then it's like then they forget about the inside part, because everybody sneers up when I talk to them about the enema. They're like, oh my God, you got to stick that, you know, in your behind. I'm like, yeah. Like I'm worried more about the inside, because I'm like, once you take care of the inside, then the outside's gonna work itself out, you know. But I think that that's what they focus on, and everybody has their things, you know. People still think that the meat, but you know, it's acidic. You know, it creates pus. You know, and I feel like it'll catch up with you, and it was catching up with me at a early age. You know, and I just vouch for fruits and vegetables. But yeah, I just feel like people are just so focused on the, you know, I don't think they're really thinking about the mental and the
emotional.
Yeah. And I think that's all pretty much. And I think I talked about the, you know, the feel good. You know, I don't want to have no aches and pains. Like I feel healthy now. Like I feel like I know what healthy feels like now. But before I didn't, you know. But and like I said, I talked about the smell, the odor. Yeah, that's pretty much like that. I think that's all I really.
But we can piggyback.
Yeah, we can piggyback. I don't think there's nothing else really.
For me, health is, I believe, it's more about how you're feeling. You know, are you feeling lethargic? Are you having pains? You know, do you feel bloated? Are you having issues eliminating regularly? How's your skin?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sleeping? Are you mentally and emotionally disturbed? For me, it's all about function. Are you functioning optimally? Do you feel vital? When the morning, comes, do you feel more energized after your sleep? Because you should feel more energized when you get up in the morning. You just finish rest.
Right.
Rest should
You should be
a
ready
lot
to
of
go.
us, we get up in the morning, and I remember that. It's like,
where's my coffee?
I'm telling you. I remember. I mean, I was a coffee drinker, but it's like, can I sleep some more? And I think the lethargy, just the drain. To me, now I know, comparing then to now,
I'm gonna have to school down. I'm sorry, I gotta go to the bathroom so bad. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been
till
drinking
now, feeling like this is what feel good should be, not tolerating, okay, let me just settle for this. If I can function 80%, that's good enough. When you really can function more than 80%. So for me, healthy is more about balance. Are you balanced emotionally, physically, chemically? Because the body has different systems. On a cellular level, I think we're really malfunctioning. The average person, I believe, wants to get up into their 30s, have some issues. If you're feeling any pain, like I did, feeling any pain at all, to me, that's not healthy. And I remember feeling pain, but didn't make the connection as to what was really going on here, but not thinking that it's not healthy, just thinking that this is normal. When you get older and things happen, this is the natural progression, and I accepted that this is how it is. And now I know otherwise. Healthy is more about the feeling. And the thing is, everything we do is predicated on feeling. You buy a new car, it make you feel good. You're getting married, it make you feel good. The children are progressing well, it make you feel good. You buy a new house, you get a new job, you get a promotion, So our basic drive surrounds, because if it never made you feel good, you wouldn't be, I guess, encouraged or driven to even do that. So I think we have to get to a place, which Joy and I do or have done, where we can reclaim that feel good, reclaim that that vibrancy and that vitality and that get up and go. You run out of bed rather than you're rolling over in bed because you don't have the energy. And that's the other thing. How are you energy wise? Are you resting? Are you replenishing? Are you refueling? If you aren't, then of course you're eventually going to be bankrupt because you are withdrawing more than you are depositing. And I also made some notes. So if there's any disturbance, there was disturbance, of course, which I mentioned last week in my stomach digestive issue. It starts with the mouth, ends with the anus. I was disturbed for years there. So that wasn't healthy. And I forgot to mention that I had pains in my joint. Yeah. They told me it was arthritis, and I noticed my joints were widening. And
so they was inflamed.
Yeah, they were inflamed, and I was told that I'm in too much hot and cold water.
Oh, wow.
That was the reason for the aches and pains. And when I came off the milk and the cheese, it totally went away. And the other thing I have to say, and I'll mention it later, let's just keep on this for. But what supports these disturbances, what support the dis-ease in your body? It's something that we are doing.
And it's your
whether
and it's your check engine light just
go,
letting
yeah, when there's pain, the body is alerting you that, you know what, Sonia, something is off here. So it's wanting to arrest your attention to say, pay attention here. But the attention that's necessary, it's not a band-aid. You know, it's not, okay, let me take a pill or let me do this, or, you know, it's like, I am big about getting to the root of issues. You know, because to every effect there's a cause, or every cause there's an effect, something like that. So I'm very big, and I've always been, okay, what is the root of this? Because if we don't get to the root of the issue, we're going constantly be band-aiding and, I guess, treating, and you know, and it never will go away.
And it might come back even like worse.
Yeah, and exactly. So for me, once I realize, and it's the same thing when people say, okay, they have diabetic issue, they have cholesterol issue, they have blood pressure issue, all of that is interrelated. And if you get to it from a place and address it from a place, okay, if what is it I'm doing is resulting in this, that, you know, this the effect of the cause, then I have to be smart and wise enough to change what is it I am doing. You know, I know people said to me, okay, so people who have diabetes, you think that they're causing it to themselves? Yes, they're causing it to themselves from a place mostly from ignorance, because you don't have the information.
Right.
But also your unwillingness to want to even change, the disobedience, because you feel the pain. And when you know or you hear that, okay, this can help, and you're not willing to take it, willing to you know, incorporate what is necessary to change, then you're being unwilling and disobedient. So there are consequences to that action. So hey, suck up the pain and expect that it's going to get worse. You know, so that's the other thing too. And it's not just the physical, it's also the stress levels. We have to be able to manage our emotions and take time off, and also deal with that mental and emotional part, because it does affect the physical. It's always what's in the spiritual eventually manifests in the physical, you know. And let me just go to my notes. Some other things, I think we have to lose this, as part of reclaiming our power, lose the mentality of self-sabotage, because I really believe that we are committing suicide.
That's what I feel.
You know, you're slowly killing yourself, and nobody is going to actually. I think I don't want to say nobody. People are trying to come up with solutions as to how, because the health and wellness industry is booming now. But I think it's not just. We have to make the connection as to what is it I'm doing that's creating this. Okay, one of the reasons that we decided to get off the meat and the stuff is now we understand what exactly the consequences of having that. We're not telling people don't eat meat. We're just saying, listen, there is an alternative which we have experienced, and we're excited to share it, and we want you guys to feel better. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to be in pain every day. You don't have to be thinking. Women have a way, and I used to be that way. We're thinking all about weight, until I realized that it's not the weight. The obsession is with the weight because you want to look a certain way.
And that goes back to the outside.
Yes. Lose the obsession with how you look. Because if you do the inside, then you'll get that. You'll get how you look. It just flows. It follows. So let's address, which we have addressed, okay, what's the root of my aches and pains? It's something I'm doing. Let me take responsibility and make a U-turn. And see how that works. I was willing to do that, and here am I without the aches and pains. I have the vitality. When I don't have it, is because I need to rest. You know, I'm out of balance, and the body. I'll hear people say the body is harming itself. The body does not harm itself.
Just always.
It is always trying to balance. Its only job is homeostasis, repair, and healing.
We get in the way.
Yes. And the information we have saying. And then we treat the issues like they're outside of ourselves. Like they're attacking me, as if to say that I didn't have anything to do with the diabetes, and I didn't have anything to do with the cholesterol, and I didn't have anything to do with the blood pressure, and I don't have anything to do with the, all the other issues, the cancer and the whatever. But if the only thing you're doing is eating and living, where did it come from? It didn't just land in your body.
And it didn't come just because it was in your family.
For the most part.
You was eating the same stuff that
the
your
family was eating. So we have to take responsibility once we get, because I think it's more about ignorance. A lot of us don't have the information because I think the information is flawed. It's obviously flawed because we're sick and dying. It's like, that is the real epidemic. I had a conversation with my brother-in-law this week, and he was talking about, what's going on now with the whole issues with the pandemic, and he was saying, it's the apocalypse. And I'm like, listen, the apocalypse happening long time.
It's been happening.
The apocalypse is that what we're doing is robbing us of our life force. The emotional life force, the mental life force, the physical life force, more than anything else. Because once the house is like compromised, you can't think straight. You can't behave straight. Nothing else goes, it's like it will kind of compartmentalize the body. We can't really do that because it's a whole thing that all of the areas are necessary. If you pay more attention to one than the other, then you're going to have an imbalance and then you're going to be out of whack. So we have to address, okay, what is it am I doing that's contributing to this effect?
Right.
Okay, let's look at people's daily diet. And we want to stick more with diet. We'll touch the other stuff. When we get up, one of the things I learned too, and I was scared like Joy of the fruits, because the experts say too much fruit is too much sugar, and then it will lead to diabetes. And then I discovered from my information is that it's not the fruit. The fruit is fructose. All the other starches is glucose. The body thrives on sugar for energy, instant to get you that pick me up. Because the fruit, and that's what I learned, which is why I went back. This is why I understand. I made the connection that if fruit is a cleanser, it's electrical. I had that bing bing moment. It's a cleanser. It has all the water, it's a compact thing. It's multi, I guess, functional, for lack of a better word. But it does not trigger insulin. Fructose is a natural, simple sugar that your body doesn't have to secrete insulin to break down. It just goes, it uses instantly. When we have all this starch, and the reason why it was fruit was probably, and I think why it's looked upon as something that triggers insulin is because it's mixed with other starch.
Yeah.
We mix fruit with, all the other
carbs.
Starch. Yeah. They mix with the other carbs. Yeah. So you need insulin to break down the other starches. So of course, if we're going to have the other starches for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and in between, just think about it. You get up in the morning, what does the diet look like? Most people have coffee, right?
To get the day.
Okay, what is coffee?
It messes with your nervous system.
It's a stimulant. So it keeps you here. And the I guess the sales pitch is that it gives you energy. Yes, it stimulates you for a
Mm-hmm.
pick me up, and then you go flat. So you need it again.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the nutrition and what it's actually giving you, one, it's a diuretic, so you're peeing out
Okay.
water. Two, it's a stimulant. Three, it packed with sugar, so it's going to trigger insulin. And as often as you drink the coffee, it's triggering the insulin.
All right.
And what happens when you trigger the insulin, and insulin is necessary to turn the blood sugar into energy to go into the cells. When you're constantly doing that, after a while, the poor pancreas, which is the rigid food, because it comes to breakfast now. What you have for breakfast? Bagel.
Yeah, and it's supposed to
What
be,
else?
and it's supposed to be break fast. So
Breaking the fast.
yeah, so you breaking the fast, and it's like people start out with hash browns, sausage,
That's okay. Hash
yeah,
browns is
eggs.
okay. Let's break it down. So hash browns is now carbs. So that's insulin.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're doing sausage.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the hash browns because it have the grease, and then it have the potato, and then God bless what nutrients is in that.
It's just
You know, so that is like, okay, you're giving the body that's supposed to be fuel. What is fuel? Fuel supposed to be vitamins, minerals, water, enzymes, all of that good stuff. Fiber, that's not fiber,
right.
nor is it minerals. Probably some carbs, which is a starch, it's sugar.
Right.
So it turn in sugar. Then you get the egg now. What is in the egg? They say protein is in the egg.
Yeah.
Okay, protein is in the egg. But what's the rest of the stuff that's going to give you? So is there an alternative to that type of breakfast that's going to be more effective for fuel and energy and the feel good that, because if you're complaining about feeling good, right? And it's from what you're eating. If you have the coffee, what does the coffee do? Does it make you feel good? Probably immediately. It gives you what is it you want, which is supposedly energy. But for the long haul, what does it actually do?
You're going to burn and crash.
You're going to crash.
Be tired at the end of the day.
But it's not supporting function, which means it's not supporting health. So you have the hash browns and the egg. How much of that is supporting function? Then you go to lunch now, you probably have tons of carbs again. So mind you, you're having a bag of chips in between too.
Right.
So you're stimulating the insulin for in the coffee. You're stimulating it for snack. You're stimulating the insulin for lunch. You're stimulating with another snack. Plus, if you're having the soda and the other whatever juice, because I'm just thinking about what I used to do and I see people do. It is, I don't remember even when I was working having any much vegetation. I'd probably have an apple.
And no fruit.
That's what I'm saying. The fruit.
Like one apple fruit, or something. Yeah, or banana.
You know, salad was okay. If I looked at my plate, 3/4 of it was the starch, a little bit of meat. God bless the veggies that I was having. Plus water. Forget water. We never drank no water. It was always a drink, fruit juice, you know. So I'm just thinking that is setting us up over time for where we are, diseased and disturbed in our temple. So it has to start with, okay, making more conscious choices when you're sitting down to eat. If this is what you say you want to feel better, you want a healthier lifestyle, you want to live optimally, you want to be able to move, you want to be flexible. Because most of this food, if you think about the contents of what is fuel is supposed to bring you oxygenation. Coffee doesn't do that. Nor does most of these starches, because it's dead. There's no oxygen in there.
No life.
No life is in there. Then nutrient dense. What's nutrient dense? Mineralized, vitamins, fiber, water. No, none of that. It's toxic. It makes your body acidic, right? And what turns out, or what eventually comes from toxicity and acidity is inflammation. And inflammation is caused by the overproduction, one of the things that cause overproduction of your insulin. And when there's too much insulin, it releases cortisol, which for us women have the belly weight. And the thing,
and it's not menopause, y'all.
No, it's not bad. Cortisol is not bad. The body is saying, I am inflamed. Just the same thing with cholesterol. Cholesterol, your body secretes cholesterol to fight inflammation. So now we're overproducing cholesterol, and the sugar is triggering the insulin, so the pancreas is going to die, and they have all this excess
and you're
fat.
overworking your kidneys.
And then you're overworking your kidneys. So all the organs, poor thing, cannot, because we eat so often, the poor body cannot get a break to balance. So we're constantly digesting.
Right.
So that's an imbalance from the get-go. So if any machine at all that you're going to overwork that way,
it's going to eventually break.
It's going to eventually break. And that is what is happening with us and what we're doing. We're doing a Band-Aid when we are causing our own demise and our sickness. And don't believe that when you get on medication for immediate, if it's major and chronic, of course works. But the goal is not to be on the medication for the rest of your life, so you end up on, and that's what happened. Once you start the blood pressure, or the cholesterol, or the diabetes, or the antidepressant, all of that related. It's the same thing. It's the insulin that causing the constant production of the cortisol, the production of the cholesterol, because the body is using these things to come to homeostasis.
Right.
So it is trying to repair itself. It can't repair itself because it's pulling the energy to go digest the food. And it's like, what am I going to do with this food? Because it's not even food. It's not fuel. I can't use it.
And the body's saying the body don't recognize it.
And it doesn't recognize it. So that was the come to Jesus moment I had to make. Like, what on earth? And I love starch. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I love potatoes.
Potato and the rice and peas. I mean, with Jamaica, a whole lot of grown provisions. And the other thing that's important to health is also hydration. When we eat all this dry food, which is why I'm going to tell you, vegetation and fruits is king, man.
Very cleansing. It's just going to push just right on.
It comes with everything. Vegetation and fruit comes with hydration. It comes with alkalinity. It comes with oxygenation. It comes with fiber. It comes with antioxidant. It comes with alkalinity. It comes with nutrient dense. I mean, it just is a compact fuel. When it comes, like if you eat a bagel or you eat some rice or you eat in Jamaica with a dumpling, just think about that. When you put that in your mouth, especially say white rice, we're having white rice, and this is information I learned, and I was, I wanted to veer away from what was already there, because to me, it just never made sense, because people were going down the path of illness, sickness, and the disease. So I felt something was off. When you have some white rice, or say you have some crackers, when you take the crackers in, it's void, just like the white rice, which in the world of eating better, they say stay away from white rice and white bread and all of this stuff and white potato. And I didn't understand what they meant, because it's bleached, one, and bleach mean that the nutrients are removed. So you remove the nutrients to keep the starch, which is sugar. So when you eat the rice, it turns into sugar instantly. So it becomes a simple sugar. Unlike brown rice and wild rice and all the other, colored, unbleached, unrefined rice, because that takes a little longer time to release, to break down the sugar, so the insulin is being released slowly. with the white rice and the soda and all of this quick stuff, it's like constant bombarding the pancreas for insulin. So that was what I was doing, plus the soda, plus the dessert. I couldn't go that day without having some cake. I was a cakeaholic. I wasn't a candy, but I was a chocolate-aholic. And I'm looking at my patterns and I'm saying, no wonder I end up with high cholesterol and pre-diabetic and inflammation and arthritis and digestive issues. Because I was self-sabotaging.
Right.
I was committing suicide without even knowing, because I didn't make the connection because I didn't have the information. When you eat the crackers or something dried, or well, let's go back to the rice or anything white, because it comes in with no nutrient. It has to put, because the body only identify wholesome food, which comes in with all of the different areas, the minerals, the vitamins, the fiber, whatever. When it doesn't come with that, then it pulls it from your body. If it doesn't have calcium, then it go and pull the calcium from your body. So now the body is trying to make it whole for assimilation. And the way it does it, it pulls it from you, and then it ends up in the saliva, and then it comes down. So now it leaves you deficient of the thing that you just put in, and God forbid you never put it in. All this time, what is it reaching for? Imbalance and disturbance. Same thing with anything void of water. I'm not saying that you cannot have dried stuff or you cannot have chips. And what I'm saying is that when you decide to do it, you have to somehow balance it with nutrient. I kind of do 90-95. If I'm eating something dried, I am so conscious now that I have to go put water in there. And I know I can't have it every day.
Right.
Once in a while, because just the whole work of have to figure and okay, I have to go hydrate. So when you have a piece of chips, or you have some chips or whatever it is, it comes in without water. So what it has to do, pull water from you to break it down
and push
for the body to assimilate and use it. So this is the detriment of why we say it has to be diet and lifestyle. Because the food we're taking in is void of nutrients, it's void of water. So now you're putting more pressure on the body to bring balance. When, I'm like saying to myself, I'm not surprised that we're dying at 30 and 40 and 50. Because when you have all of that stuff going on in your body, it's just overworking. When I learned about blood pressure and what it does, where the heart is pumping, and after a while it hardens because it's not pumping, you can't fool it, it doesn't relax and expand. And then because the blood is thickened with all the triglycerides from all the crap and the extra, because the sugar turns into fat, so it thickens. So now what happens is that if you have your arteries and your blood vessels, it's hard. It puts in pressure for the heart to pump the blood to get to the head, to the toes. So it have to overwork itself. And when the heart overwork itself, it hardens. Right. So that's why you're going to have heart disease. I didn't make the connection.
You're attacking your own heart.
You're attacking your own heart. You're attacking the pancreas. The liver cannot filter anymore because it's like, how it going to filter? It's full of so much waste because we're not eliminating the waste, because we're not going to the bathroom as regularly. We're not cleansing. And that is why herbs are important. That's vegetation. What it does, it helps to repair. The body, food doesn't repair or heal. The body repairs and heals. Our job is to create the environment for the body to do its job, because it is so. When I got that appreciation for my body, girl, I am working with my body. I am making it easy, which is why initially I still, even when I was doing the plant-based, I still was having a lot of that starch. And I'd be on the plant-based and wondering, why is it I feel the same way? I shouldn't feel the same way. But you know what? I was overworking my organs the same way because I was still having the starch.
Mm-hmm.
I gave up the meat,
Mm-hmm.
but I was substituting with more starch.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't in a better situation. I was a kind of in a better situation because now I'm giving the body, the water
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
whatever. But it was counterproductive. I
Mm-hmm.
was still, I can't say I didn't have the pains and the aches, excuse me, but I was creating acidity and creating inflammation still because the start, whether we like it or not, and I think melanated people, we just cannot have too much of that
Mm-mm.
starch. We cannot eat so often because as often as you eat, you're stimulating your insulin.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to eat, you can't eat fruits all day, all
You
night, vegetable
can.
all day, all night, and it doesn't, affect
Mm-mm.
the way that starch does.
Right.
With the meat now, why I came off meat was the same thing. What is meat giving me?
Mm-hmm. Well, they say
There's no
protein.
fiber and there's a protein,
Yeah.
which, okay, we're going to eat. But what happens is too much meat causes the kidney to malfunction. The acidosis, the constant production of I think we eat a lot too much protein.
And just think about the digestive system having to work to break
Work
that
all the time.
constant.
I mean, the longer I'm in this is like the more I just want to just eat fruits and vegetable all day, all night. Because it just makes sense to me. If I'm saying I want quality of life, I want to live longer, I want to feel flexible, I want to get up and go, and I'll hear people say, boy, so what are you going to eat? Let me tell you guys, you see when you start,
Rabbit food.
yeah, you see when you start to
They
eat
say
this
we
way,
eat rabbit food.
and it's a transition. It's not gonna happen overnight, and you have
Right.
to be patient with
You
yourself.
do.
It's like, how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna take one step forward, two back, two step forward, one back, but you're inching ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot be so I want to say, you cannot be so nonchalant. I don't know if that's the word, but not where you don't value yourself that much or commit to yourself that much where you can make these changes for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that type of mindset, because I used to have it, it gets me now.
Mm-hmm.
I have now made friends with work, with effort, especially when it comes to due diligence to my body. I mean, sometimes I'll get up in the morning and I don't want to do this for myself because I do my enemas, and sometimes I'm like, oh God, not again. No, I do, 3 to 4 times a week, but I'd be like, just the whole routine. But I think about how valuable my temple is. And I said to myself, nothing is more important than that.
You.
Nothing is important than me getting up and go. Because, the thing I realized too is that from we're born, we're dying. It's just easy to involve ourselves with habits and patterns that support death. Lazing around is death.
And sometimes we'll even try to help other people and forget about ourselves. And I'm like, what is that about? Like, take care of you.
That's the modeling we got, though.
Yeah.
And that's probably influenced
Like,
by
here
our
you are
religion.
letting yourself go. Like,
and then the thing about it, we make peace with dying of some disease, of losing our dignity.
Yeah, they say you gotta die or something.
Yeah, but I'm like, just the thing. Because the point is, guys, if you don't stop the trajectory of where you are, don't fool yourself.
Right.
That you're not going to be on bedpan.
Right.
And you're not going to be tubed up. And you're not going to have somebody wipe your butt.
And that's horrible. I can talk.
I know that type of losing that type of, when you have a choice, you have an alternative. You can't turn it around.
You can.
So I know of people, and Joy know of people, they have healed themselves from so many different ills and pains and diseases just with eating this way. And it just makes sense to me because now you're giving the body the fuel it needs. It's like a car.
Right.
You want to give the car water to run.
Right. You're going to give it what it
You
needs.
give
It
it the
needs that
gas.
gasoline.
Yes. So you give the body nutrient dense food that's alkaline. You don't want to create no acidity because the more acidic the body, it's going to cause inflammation. So if you're looking at something that's void of all these areas, then you know you're feeding your inflammation, which means you're feeling your dysfunction and you're feeding the pain and you're feeding the fatigue and you're feeding the listlessness and you're feeding the no energy. That is what you're feeding. But if you say you want to feel better, it starts from point A. Let's do those and incorporate those habits and actions. That's going to get you to point B.
And it's just like, as much as you like, I feel like we focus so much on the outside. Like, if you would just change it up and mainly focus on the inside, you know, we spend a lot of time with our hair, you know, and nothing against going getting your hair done once a week, but we put so much energy into that, getting our nails done, getting our feet done. And I love all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, but it's like, really, really just, want to heal from the inside out, because once you take care of the inside, everything else is gonna fall. Like you said, that flow. It's just gonna flow.
What comes in goes out.
Goes out.
So you're either going to pay, or people say, okay, I can't do this. You're either gonna pay now, or you're gonna pay later. When you're looking at, and I get the pleasure thing. I like food that's pleasurable, so I'm learning to find and create food that is going to be just as pleasurable as what I was used to. But the other food wasn't pleasure. Mm-hmm. When you ate the stuff, it was instant gratification, because it's sugar and salt.
Right.
But when you start to eat this way, and especially, when you take it in, it's going to do like more good than harm. You develop a different relationship with the food. I'm excited to go make my salad and excited to cook veggies.
Right.
And I'm like thinking, okay, what can I pop in here and pop in there? And, to be able, and I remember,
it's rewarding.
Like I said, I used to go into Walmart and finish a whole bar of Cadbury and pay for the wrap. I'm like, but now I know what was happening. I was stressed out. And I was reaching for the feel good. But I got
you only felt good for a little bit, and then it comes right back. Like that stress came right back. So,
but I got the immediate feel good. But what was I really doing for the long term? I was feeding the dysfunction and the disturbance in my body. But I didn't make the connection. Right. The other thing that happened to me, and I didn't share it last week. I remember walking in the park and this dog jumped out at me and I leapt and landed on some rocks. And my knee was messed up. And I used to, love running, and, walking to me wasn't fun. Now it's fun. Back then it was like, your body not doing anything. So a year later, I believe, so I kind of lost that, drive to run, because I would do a lap on my knee just like. And I remember I was running on the treadmill again when it kind of felt like it was healing and something snapped. And I tell you, I buckled and I couldn't get up. So I thought it was a tendon or something in my knee. And I went to the doctor and they were telling me about, what's in here again? ALS.
Shoot, I can't think.
Whatever that is. Tore.
ACL.
My ACL was like bruised or fractured or whatever the term was. And
This
you
was,
know.
but was this when you was on meat though,
Oh
Steve? Oh,
yes.
okay,
Oh yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. This is way before I changed, and that was one of the reasons why I stopped running, because I couldn't do. I remember I couldn't do lunges. Anything to bend was an issue. I used to get out of the bed like an old person,
Mm-hmm.
like barely turning. I don't want to twist a certain way because I was scared of my knee.
Mm-hmm.
And not bored girl, I am back on the running.
Wow.
And the only thing I changed was my diet. I never
Uh,
had to do anything
you
else.
know, it's funny that you said that because I do feel like with the fruits and vegetables, I feel like your body, like, I don't know the word, it like gets it together like quick.
It
Because I
repairs.
remember Insanity. We was going hard. Everybody was doing the Insanity at one time. And when I was on my meat, I swear, y'all, I thought when I did that first few videos, I was about ready to have a heart attack. Like, I mean, I was out of breath and but it did get better. But it took a little bit the longer I did it. But then I remember when I switched to the fruits and the vegetables and I did Insanity, it was almost like
Easy.
yeah. Like I wasn't like gasping for breath. Like it was just, it blew my mind. I was like, this is going to be easy. And I enjoyed it better. Like it's weird. Like I enjoy better working out on fruits and vegetables than I did on the meat. Like it was just, it's a total different feeling.
I have to say the same thing too.
Mm.
I used to go in the gym and my skin would be itching and I'm like, what on earth is going on? Then I knew, I mean, when I did skin, I realized that it was lymph. It was all that waste.
Wow.
At first I thought it was circulation, but I wasn't doing the
And but
enema
I
or
think that's
anything.
what they tell
They
you, that
tell you it's
it's circulation.
circulation.
Yeah.
But the type of, I was like itching on the
Yeah,
outside. I'd be
yeah,
scratching
yeah,
so
yeah.
much
You be
till I
red.
bruise
Yeah, yeah,
myself.
yeah.
And I'd be like, what on earth is this? Not only that, the recovery time. If I had to do some weights and the following day I'd be so pained up, so sore. No, it's like a breeze. The soreness just goes. It's quick. My recovery and the rate at
recovery.
which
That's what I want.
the repair, the body
Yeah,
repairs itself is quicker.
Right.
And now I understand why. Because it has the medicine to offset it. It has what it needs to do the recovery. Because that's his job.
Right.
To repair and to recover. So I'm like, guys, I'm going to tell you, I've never been more excited.
Me too.
About the rest of my life than I am now.
I know. And I mean, I feel great. Like, this is the best I've ever felt. Like, 20s, it's your 20s. But like 30s, when I start seeing myself like decline, I feel like better now. And I feel like it's a lie. But they always say, oh, you start going downhill when you get in your 40s. But I think 40s, 50s, and 60s, you are just thriving. If you take care of yourself, like you'll see it. Like it pays off. You can still do the same thing you did when you was in your 30s, in your 20s. Like whatever, you can do it,
We don't have to settle for the information that we acquired.
Right. It's not looking forward to the cane and the somebody in your family taking care of you. Like, you can't help yourself. You can't feed yourself. You can't bathe yourself. That don't have to be the outcome. But we don't talk about that enough.
But I just want to encourage you guys to just be more conscious and mindful about what you put in your mouth. And start to be, what should I say? Check the fruit inspector, or start to be a feeling inspector, because that is really a signal. If I feel this way, what did I do that's causing me to feel this way, whether it's mental or emotional, but primarily physical. What did I eat this morning or last night? And then try and cut, try and not eat too late. And that's one of the things I changed. I used to get home like 10 o'clock, and that's when I'll be eating and going to my bed at 12 at night.
And then the body can't
So
digest
the body
properly.
is digesting. So it's pulling all the energy to digest. So you really cannot relax for it to repair and to heal. So when I get up in the morning, I was running in my sleep because the digestion was going, the kidney and the all of that, the intestines working. So you get up in the morning, you are tired because all of that energy was utilized digesting the last meal that you went to bed. So those are little connections that we have to make. We are in fact creating our own demise, whether you like it or not. And there is not somebody that's going to come and hold your hand and start to. I have two girlfriends, close girlfriends, that have started on the journey. And let me tell you, and they have the same age, same issues. And I'm so pleased, I have to say, that I think about the stuff that they do, the extra mile, and I think it's making a connection that they want to invest in themselves that way. So it kind of excites me that I'll get older and have friends that are going to be around long enough, to be vibrant like I am. Because when the friends and the family are hurting, you're hurting too.
You do.
I don't want anybody that I know I'd have to come visit you and you have cancer, you have diabetes, and the kidney gone and the toe gone and the
that's
the
not
eyesight.
living.
That's not living.
Because they would always say, like, my grandmother, she was 93 when she transitioned. And they was like, oh, but she lived a good life. And I'm like, half
she
of
was
it.
Sick.
Yeah, she was sick. She was in pain. I said half of it she couldn't remember because towards the end, she had the Alzheimer's. So, like, no, that's not the way you should want to transition out of here,
But we have accepted it.
Yeah, and it's like that's normal. Like,
but there's an alternative, guys.
There is. That doesn't have to be the case.
So I think that wraps up what health is to us. It's really function, vitality, balance, and stress is another thing too that we have to manage, because stress is like sugar. It impacts the body just the same like high starch, where it triggers, because what stress is, the body perceives that it's in fight and flight, it's in danger. And what happens when you perceive that you're in danger, you kind of alert your, I think it's parasympathetic nervous system. So it says to the body, I need quick energy because danger is coming and I need to run. So the body is reaching for sugar.
Right.
And but think about it, that kind of constant fight and flight over time is going to do the same thing with the insulin.
Right.
Triggering because it need quick sugar and it's reaching in the body for the sugar. So that constant level of insulin constantly is going to cause the same thing, the triggering the cortisol, triggering the cholesterol to help guard, because the body does provide cholesterol and they provide the cholesterol for the brain. Right. And then we do all these other things to self-sabotage according to the experts. And I'm like saying to myself, it's just it's primarily the food. Food and stress. Because now we have to incorporate stress, our inability to manage our emotions. And this is how I define stress. Stress is wanting things to be other than what it is. People to be other than who they are. At some point, things to go the way you want to go. You want it to go. We gotta lose that.
Right.
Because everybody is entitled to behave, respond the way they want.
Right.
It's not about us. That's how they see the world. To them, that's right.
Right.
But the thing is, you can't really blame them. I'm not talking to them because they're responding and reacting from their level of consciousness. They're responding and reacting from the information they acquired. Right. So they're doing the best they can. But what we have control over is managing ourselves. So, am I going to be triggered by everything you say and do? Right. And I remember being that there. Everything my husband do trigger me. The kids do trigger me. This work trigger me. And I was, even with, you remember when we were at Marriott?
Oh my God.
I'll go into my room and I'm like, I leave everything clean and I come back and they're like, and then it dawned on me one day that I am making myself miserable. I don't think they're deliberately doing that. And then I learned from my own situation at home. My kids and family not deliberately leaving the stuff in the sink, not doing the domestic stuff. Is that they're thinking about themselves. Right. They're not thinking about me. And I'm going there thinking about myself too. Because I'm making up these stories as to you didn't do that because you don't care enough. You don't value, you're taking me for granted. All these foolishness that I tell myself. And then the night I'm going to bed fuming, and sometimes it will go for 2 weeks. Right. Self-sabotaging from something that I created myself. I am losing that, and I'm encouraging you guys, do what you can control. Lose that. Honor people where they're at and move right along. Ease and flow. That's how you manage stress. I learned that because I wasn't a good manager of stress. A lot of stuff used to trigger me with people. And now I'm like, I can allow you to be the way. Not that I don't, get triggered, but I'm able to manage the triggers better because I'm reasoning out, okay, get back to the root. What is being triggered in me? How can I best deal with this? And always try and put myself in the other situation. I'm not perfect. Occasionally I get off the rails, but I reel myself back and use it as a teachable moment. Just like you guys, if you're adopting this lifestyle, it's not going to happen overnight. But the consistency over time, and as you keep on track consistently, you're gonna lose your appetite for certain things. I never thought I could lose my appetite for chocolate. I was a chocoholic.
And it's funny you say that because, I think the magnesium is what your body was
the magnesium, the minerals. Yeah. I was void of the minerals, but also the feel good. I was stressed out. The body wants quick sugar. It remembers that Cadbury gave you, and Cadbury gave you feel good. So I wasn't feeling good because I was stressed out. So the memory, okay, that is something that makes it. So I was kind of like in a withdrawal, But anyway, y'all, this brings any final words?
Just empower yourself, take your power back and heal yourself. Want to desire that. Tell the universe that's what you want, and it'll give it back to you, And y'all, it's our birthright, It's our birthright. So
we owe it to ourselves.
We do.
To chart a different course.
Love yourself.
If you're going on a trajectory towards illness, disease, dis-ease, and demise. It doesn't have to be the way how we see it happening. I have two people I know within the last 2 months, 37, 38, that died. One was blood clot and the other one was a heart attack at 37 and 38. That was just food. Anyway, y'all, till next time, this is the close of another episode. So keep in touch with us. We're on
on our
Instagram,
Empire Yourself TV.
And we have an email address.
We can give them Yeah.
EmporeYourselfTV@gmail. But we'll give that to you next time. Anyway, peace out.
All right. Ashe, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.